I am so fed up with snow. I can't believe it's snowing again, and I am just fed up with the cold in general. I'm just tired of having to wear a sweater and a scarf in my own office. But who can afford to turn on the heat in this economy? So that's where we are. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I am known for my furry fantasy adventure comic, Tall Tales, and my medieval fantasy drama, Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which ended its Kickstarter run for issue 9 just yesterday. And I just want to thank everybody who helped support the campaign. And for those of you who missed it, have no fear because the pre launch page for issue 10 is now live, and the link is in the show notes if you want to check that out. Also, if you're new here, I share my office space, all 130 square feet of it, even though I am squished in 19 square feet of it most of the time. I share it with a parrot and two parakeets, and they get especially lively every time I try to record something, whether I'm live streaming or doing a vlog. That's the time that they decide to make all the noises. So if you hear any strange noises in the background, that's them. And there's nothing I can really do about it except edit them out as best as I can. So here we are at episode 7. So I can't believe that I've made it this far with this experiment, and I'm rather pleased with myself. And I'm even more pleased that you specifically, especially like the videos. That just encourages me to do more of them. I would like to experiment more with the format a bit, but I guess we'll just settle with me spending a little bit more time editing out as many of my ums and ahs as I can. If you're just joining us, the purpose of this vlog series is for me to just keep a recorded account as to the artwork that I was able to accomplish during the week and just talk about whatever it is that's kind of on my mind for this moment. Speaking of artwork, this week has been kind of lacking, although I was able to ink one more page of Ego Raven issue 10. This is specifically page 14 of this issue, and I thought I wasn't going to make it, that's for sure. Things have just been really hectic, and made sure that I at least got one page done, or at least one thing finished for the video. So at least doing these vlogs serves that purpose, where it gives me kind of like a target to focus on if I feel like I'm falling behind. Well, it's like, okay, let me get at least one art piece done so at least I can talk about it on the vlogs. I'm 2 pages short of being halfway through this issue. I'm a little irritated at myself. I thought that I would be at least closer to finishing by now, but just a lot of adulting getting in the way. So the other thing that I'm trying to finish is another commission from my House of Bob sketchbook campaign. I'm down to the last 2 commissions. I'd like to make the point of showing a finished piece, but I'm claiming this one on this video just to at least show that I'm making some effort. I'm currently inking right now. It is on my drawing table back there. And, I still have to contact the owner of the commission to see if I can go ahead and do this piece traditionally in markers. The level was originally for a digital piece, which technically would be faster. I really feel like this piece will especially benefit from being done traditionally. So I'm looking forward to getting to that point, but I just want to make sure I have the commissioner's approval to do that because I really am enjoying working with my Copics. I think I finally got the hang, or at least got some of a hang of using the markers. Yeah, having a good time with that. So, another thing, I was very surprised how quickly I got my tax refund, and I decided to splurge a little bit. And I decided, was like, well, I wasn't expecting this money so quickly. And this was actually a lot less expensive than I had originally thought doing my original research. So I decided to get I don't know how I'm going to do this here, a table runner for my upcoming conventions, or at least just Baltimore Comic Con if I don't get into Anime NYC. So let me put my microphone down so I could just show you. So it's a standard table runner. It's 6 feet by 2 feet. And what I did was I made a different image on each side. So depending on how I'm feeling at a convention, I can use either one of my logos on my table. Let me get my microphone back. It's really good quality. I was really concerned about this pattern because it is a little bit lower resolution than I would have liked, but it looks great. I really like the way the table runner came out. As to what the table runner looks like properly displayed, I'm really impressed by it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a retractable banner from them. Actually, two of them. I'm looking at two of them. They use fabric for their banners. And the idea is that it's a lot lighter to carry around than using vinyl. I already have a vinyl banner and it's heavy. Even without the stand that makes it retractable, it's heavy. I figured that this would be a good opportunity to get new banners that use lighter material, and also the stand itself is smaller and lighter because the thing about doing conventions is that if you do them yourself, you have to be able to carry the stuff you're bringing to the convention. So if I can get banners that weigh less and that they're easier for me to carry, that's probably a good idea for me to do. When I decide to order them and get those in, of course, I'm going to do a video about that. Because what I want to do is I want to get like all these little pieces in I'm going to be using for my table. Like the next thing I just bought was a new tablecloth and a table cover, which is really just a queen size bed sheet, but it was a lot cheaper to buy a queen bed sheet set. So I could just take the flat sheet and use that as a table cover than to actually buy something more specific to that. I mean, in the end, it's like nobody cares as long as your table is covered at the end of the day. So try to configure something a little bit different, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more streamlined, less busy from my previous attempts at convention tables. To tell you the truth, it's like I look back at older photos and I was like going, how did anybody find anything on my table? The thing is like just so much sensory overload that it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to like reverse engineer this and make the table just a better experience to buy stuff off of. But like I said, that'll be a different episode. Although the thing that I was thinking about is a little dilemma that's been bugging me for a bit. Doing my research for artist alleys, you very quickly learn that how much fan art is king at the events. Every artist alley is just oversaturated with fan art. Everybody's doing fan art. I used to do fan art, but It never sat well with me. Hate to break it to you, but fan art is just another word for bootleg if you're selling it in an artist alley. If you don't have permission from the copyright holders to make merch of these characters, you're essentially bootlegging. I hate to break it to you. That's what it is. The only reason you're getting away with it is because a lot of these companies have decided that you doing fan art is just free advertising for them. And they'd rather not go through the hassle. They would rather spend their effort on actual, real monetary value copyright infringement than go after somebody in an artist alley selling keychains of, I don't know, whatever character is hot right now. I'm not really familiar with all the popular stuff right now. I haven't been paying attention. And that actually becomes part of the problem because that was kind of the thing that never sat well with me, was the fact that it required me to engage with media I could have cared less about. Yeah, I did fan art of the Avengers. I did fan art of Frozen. I did fan art of Guardians of the Galaxy. But, that one was a little bit easier because of Rocket Raccoon, cuz it's like, it's Rocket, I can't say no to Rocket. But like overall though, these pieces felt more like a chore than pieces I actually enjoyed working on. The problem is that it became very apparent very quickly that I wasn't enjoying doing these pieces. And as a result, I kind of always had this nagging feeling that the customers could tell. The fan art on my end never really took off. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there are some pieces that I do like, but I think that fan art as a whole, I am not a fan of. I just can't be bothered to keep up to date with whatever's hot. And then it's like you're competing in the rest of the artist alley with everybody else who's doing that same artwork. I'm going back to conventions. I know that this is like nostalgia is heavily marketed at these things. Okay, so what do I do as a person who is not a fan art enjoyer? But I do have to think about the market that I'm entering. What I started thinking about is, okay, instead of like focusing on what I don't like doing, what do I like doing? I did an experiment on the House of Bob campaign where I was doing sketch covers. For lack of a better phrase, it didn't offend my sensibilities. The comics are printed specifically for you to draw on them, like a Batman. And I have like a whole box full of like Batman and Wonder Woman. And it feels less like a chore if I'm drawing Wonder Woman on a Wonder Woman cover. So it's like, okay, all right. So I like doing that. If I were to do fan art, I would do original artwork, fan art on sketch covers. It's like, okay, so we have that. There was a time where I had gotten a whole bunch of Disney comics with blank covers. And I was just doing like these weird crossover mashups. And I had fun with those. Those I like doing. So I figured, okay, we could do sketch covers. I still have plenty of sketch covers, so we could do that. But in terms of like prints, I don't want to make anything specific, like fan art specific for like prints and things. It's like that's the part where I kind of get like, I'm kind of wasting my time. Because here's the thing that I noticed when I was doing fan art is that, the hope is that you do fan art and it'll attract people who will hopefully like your work enough to want to learn about your original stuff, so your original comics. That wasn't my experience at all. The people who are looking for a Deadpool or a Harley Quinn, they're not interested in your OCs. They're not interested in your comic that they've never heard of. I was attracting an audience that I wasn't interested in attracting. Like I said, I got rid of the fan art prints really quickly once I realized that. There was another moment where instead of doing like straight up fan art, I decided to kind of like combine it with the whole furry OC thing. And there was a moment where I was making kind of like these weird hybrid fan art pieces where I would combine furry characters with more mainstream character aesthetics, kind of like a hyena girl dressed up as Harley Quinn, or a rabbit girl dressed up as Sailor Moon. Or I think my favorite was the squirrel girl dressed up as Squirrel Girl. The prints themselves didn't click, so I didn't do them for very long. But I think I might have found a solution. During Halloween, I did Eagle Raven and Orchid dressed up as She-Ra and Catra, the original 80s version. I had a lot of fun with that piece. That I ended up doing a couple of more. I did one of Eagle Raven dressed up as Lady Amalthea from The Last Unicorn, which was rather fitting. I did another one of Eagle Raven and Daniel, living their Beauty and the Beast life. And then the last one was just like, I just did it because it was an image that came in my head and I thought it was so funny I had to do it. It was Eagle Raven dressed up as Ripley, but instead of having Jones in her arm, she has the cat, the pirate cat from The Last Unicorn. So it was kind of like a mix of stuff. And it was just such a silly piece. But I think honestly, out of all of them, this one is my favorite. I was like, you know what? It's like, I really do like doing this. What if I were to like offer up these 4 pieces at prints at the next convention and see what happens? Eagle Raven cosplay all these different scenes, so you still get the fan art, but it's my character doing it. So would that make people more curious or more willing to look at and buy my books based on that than if I had done just straight fan art? So yeah, so that's kind of like the whole thing that I'm playing around with. I have a few ideas sketched out for a couple of other prints. I'm thinking of doing the prints as 4x6s as postcards. If you've ever been to the Disney resorts, they used to have the Wonderground gallery, and not only did they sell like the big prints of whatever images they were selling, but everything was available on postcards. And I really like the postcard idea because I'm sure it's a lot easier for people to collect smaller prints nowadays than it is to always want 11x17s. Who has the room for that? I mean, even I ran out really quickly. So I'm still, figuring out the logistics of this, but I do like this idea better. But at least with the sketch covers, I can kind of like scratch that itch as well for people who want actual fan art, but also want to have an original one of a kind piece as well. So as I continue preparing for upcoming conventions or Baltimore Comic Con, if I don't get into Anime NYC, that's kind of the course that I'm looking to take. And and we'll see how that works out. So so tell me in the comments, are you more likely to buy a print of a character that you know already? What do you guys feel about fan art? Maybe that should really be the question. And while you're at it, just to tell me that you made it to the end of the video, put the little sunglasses guy emoji, the little smiley face with the sunglasses on it. So thank you so much for joining me on this 7th episode of my artist studio vlog, where we pretend we're in therapy and I get to talk out loud about things that I'm trying to figure out, and actually find a solution by the end of my recording this video. So I think it works out. At least it works out for me. But I hope that you also get to learn something from me thinking out loud. I think out loud so you don't have to. How about that? So If you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all my other stuff, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. And also, you can read Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free. It uploads every day, so you could check it out. So then you can go over to Kickstarter and head on over to the pre launch page for Ego Raven issue 10, which should be launching sometime in the next couple of months. So make sure you sign up so you get notified when it goes live. You can also find my work on Webtoons. Ego Raven updates every Tuesday and Tall Tales every Thursday. We're already into the 4th issue on both of these series, and you can also check it out on Global Comics as well. Thank you so much again, everybody, for joining me, and all the links are in the show notes below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.